How about that intro, you sons of bitches? It's your boy Colton McCormack, and this is the Certified Wrench Podcast. Really? Yeah?
Colton had a little too much to drink before he got on the show, guys. I apologize for that. This is Brandon Wineline. I'm the host of the On Grade podcast, and Colton is my guest tonight.
Actually, my name's Devin.
Yeah, it's Devin Boudreau. He just decided to switch out and put a Harley hat on tonight. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And got uglier.
What's going on, everybody? For real, though, it is season 2, episode 2. And Brandon and Colton are coming to you live from the studio. How are you, brother?
I'm tired, but that was a terrible intro. Can we redo it? I'm just kidding.
We can redo it.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm messing with you. Because I was like, sons of bitches.
You actually sounded like, radio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I sometimes, because, we'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm in a service truck, and I think to myself, like, how do I sound less mumbly doing a podcast? So sometimes I'll sit there and practice talking so I don't mumble my words. Yeah, it doesn't work out.
Use those big boy words.
Yeah, because I tend to get fired up on my podcast, and so then I start mumbling because I'm trying to get all the words out.
Yeah, I caught myself last week. You made a mention of it, and I'm sorry for the listeners that I was really low on my mic, and I didn't realize that since we haven't been recording a lot lately, that I fat fingered the mic button. So when my fiance hit record last week, I sounded like I was talking like this the whole time. I was actually talking normal the whole time, but it just sounded like I was in another room. So I apologize for that, everybody.
And I on my way here, I told myself, you're not going to cuss on this podcast. And what do? Open up the show with the cuss word.
I mean, we do have the explicit, it's bad when you literally try to put a show on and you say it's clean, and they're like, yeah, we know you're not. So you're going to put explicit.
Yeah.
So Colton's got some exciting news. So I thought I'd let him announce his exciting news on the show.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
The work related,
Yeah.
or should we just catch up?
We can do both, whatever you want to do.
Well, it's been a while since I've been on. Shit.
All right.
Well, actually, I shouldn't say that because I sat in on a podcast, but said like 3 words since moving here, right? No, I've been on 2. I don't remember.
You've been on 3 now, but like the second one, you didn't really talk at all.
Yeah.
You just went, whatcha.
Well, since being on, I guess since the last time, me and my wife welcomed our little one. He's 6 months old already. Can't believe it. Not really much been going on at home. Just living life and loving it. Enjoying being a new dad again. My oldest is 14. So it's been a different one.
Yeah.
Forgot what it's like to not sleep.
So something crazy to tell you to do with podcasting. The day your son was born was the last episode we recorded.
Yeah,
that's how
I
long
remember.
It's been. That's how long it's
With
been.
Strubig, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess what you're getting at has to do with work, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, some changes have come about in my career. Still work for the same company, but I had the opportunity to, I guess, I don't really know how to explain it. Just take a different step with work, do something a little bit different because, I've been behind the wrench for going on 18 years now, and the boss sees some potential that apparently I don't see. So he's like, this is what's going to happen. Basically, I wasn't even like asked if I wanted to do this. It was, this is what's happening. This is what you're getting. And this is what we're doing. So I've had the opportunity to get out of a service truck, and I'll still carry some tools around, but basically taking a assistant management position without the title. I don't know how to explain it, to be honest with you, because I haven't even been told exactly what I'm doing, but no longer in a service truck. And next week, which will be the 1st, right?
Yeah, April 1st.
Hey, watch me go into work back. Just kidding. Put your tools back in your truck.
Psych.
April 1st will be the official start day of whatever this new chapter is in my work career. And I'm pretty excited about it. Still going to carry tools on my truck though, because, you can't really trust certain people on, proper diagnostics. No, I'm just kidding. It's, I'll carry some tools on my truck just in case somebody can't figure something out and go out and help or, inspect a machine, make sure everything's good to go. But I'll be in the office staying clean most of the time.
There you go.
Pretty pumped on it.
I'm pretty pumped for you.
I'm scared though, because I'm afraid I'm going to get in there in a couple months and be like, fuck this.
Yeah. I can tell you, after just going through being in the field or the office and coming back to the field, my stress level has.
Yeah, I can understand that. And luckily this position, it comes with a company truck, obviously still. I won't be stuck in the office all day, every day. I'll be going out to the field, checking, certain things, going out to, I'll just be doing all kinds of shit. But I'm just glad that I'm not going to be breaking my back working on these machines anymore. But there's, I get to keep all my tools, obviously. And if it ever happens to where I have to fall back on that, I shouldn't have a problem, going right back into it. Is what it is.
So what else is exciting that's going on with the wrench? Because I won't lie, the last few episodes you've had are hilarious. They've been absolute bangers. And I was running a roller, I think it was last week, and you were talking about buying your Harley. And I almost fell out of my roller. I was laughing so freaking hard.
As far as the podcast, you mean?
Yeah. How's everything going with it?
It's been excellent, man. I guess with every podcaster, I'm sure, we go through your burnout phases and hate recording or hate talking about the same old thing. And it's like, there's been times where I want to shut it down. Like, screw this, I'm going to sell it. I've actually had somebody offer me money for it.
That's awesome. And
it was like, I was right there. And I'm like, no, because people would be fucking mad. Excuse my French, there I go cussing. But that's, how they would feel if I sold it. And, so I'm like, I told the wife, like, no, I can't do it. People would probably be disappointed, even though I'm not that good of a host.
Whatever.
I feel like I mumble sometimes. I'm not that, people listen for the guests that I have on, like, screw the host. I want to hear what this guy has to say. But, I've been able to sell a lot of merch, and, I've had really cool listeners donate to the podcast, and that's what's keeping me going, and then obviously all the messages I get, like, hey, I wrenched for a long time, and then I got out of it, hated it, and I got wind of your podcast, loved it, and now I'm back to wrenching. Yeah. And I'm like, well, did I help you, or did I just make you make a really bad decision?
Is it like a cocaine habit? I just got you back on it. I'm sorry I got you off the wagon. Now you're back on it, guys.
Yeah, so it's blown up farther than I ever imagined. People in Australia and just all over the world approaching me, and it's like, and I get messages like, these people are my friends, like I know them. I'm like, I don't even know you, but they listen to my podcast all the time, so I feel like maybe they think, they feel like they know me. No, nothing against them, just kind of weird sometimes,
I can personally tell y'all, Colton is a friend outside of podcasting. We talk all the time. It's like me and Devin. And yes, he is hilarious on podcasts and he talks a lot of shit. But Colton is probably one of the most humble, awesome dudes I know. He is a straight shooter.
You make me blush.
I was broke down on the side of the road like 6 months ago, and he shows up, fixes my truck, gets me back down the road. I mean, that's what friends do. And
You still owe me for that.
I know I do.
I'm just kidding.
I was trying to feed you, but you can't eat cheese, so I apologize about that.
No, it's all good.
Steph makes pasta tonight, and he's like, "Is that got cheese on it?" She's like, "Yeah, it's got Parmesan." He's like, "I can't eat it," so I felt really bad because we just cooked dinner for him.
I'm shitting my pants on the drive home.
Yeah, you'd be shitting your pants. Your old lady be mad at me. So.
My old lady can't eat cheese either, so
Yeah, that works out.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah.
And then come to find out her, baby is probably lactose because he can't have regular milk. He has to have this special fucking expensive formula. It's ridiculous. Excuse me.
No, I wanted to talk to you about something that we're going to do on your show too, but I thought maybe we make this episode about it. I want to let everybody know Devin's not here tonight. He had some stuff come up with work, but he did want me to pass along that he loves everybody. Thanks for all the support with the show. And he's really looking forward to talking shit with Colton tonight. But
we've never been able to do a podcast together.
Well, I mean, kind of, but you didn't really get to talk.
Didn't chime in too much.
Yeah, because Matt was here from MJM.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just talked to him on the phone actually the other day. And it's cool, man. Like, it's great. Like, how many people, when I went through everything I just went through, just call and check on me.
Yeah.
See how I'm doing. Like, all the messages I got on Instagram and all that, I want to say thank you to everybody. I know we've had some requests for some things we're going to discuss on episodes. I'm going to try and dip into that in a little bit, but I thought maybe we talked about some mental health stuff because I just went through it. And I can tell you, it's not fun. I don't know how to explain it. It's, yeah.
The shitty part is you don't even realize that you're going through it.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I know what you're saying. So I have severe ADHD, and it comes with depression from time to time. And half the time I don't even realize that I act the way I do. And my wife's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm fine," And then it's like, "Oh wait, no, this is all wrong." So yeah, it's very interesting because I get in these modes a lot. Trying to find the best way to describe it, but I get in these modes like work mode, and if something pisses me off at work, it's like, fuck this, I don't want to do this no more. I want to go find a new job. My wife's like, "No, I'll support you if you want to find a new job, but this isn't why you need to find a new job. It's just you're dealing with too much personally." So
yeah, for me, it was, I had to find something else, get my mind off of it. And that's when I found woodworking. And I know this podcast's not about woodworking, so I'm not going to talk about it, but it's helped a lot. And I know you were texting me like, "Dude, you're doing really good stuff. Like, you enjoying it?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, it's like really helping with my stress." Like, because it was just something that didn't have anything to do with what I do. The podcast does. I talk about what I do every day. It's like what you do with the certified wrench. You're talking about wrenching, and you're talking about tools, and you're talking about service trucks, and you're talking about, by the way, EOs, when you guys called them out on the episode that one day, I was laughing my ass off because that was so freaking true.
Called who out?
Equipment operators.
Oh, me?
When you guys called them out on that episode, it was like, I don't know, like 3 episodes ago.
I don't even remember. The
2 dudes you had on that worked together or something. And one's like a sub, and one, I don't remember who they were, but they were hilarious.
Oh, fuck, dude. It all blends together.
I know,
I don't remember.
But anyways, the part you said about operators was hilarious, dude. I was like, I can think of like 20 guys that are just like that. Like,
I love to give operators a hard time because, that's job security right there.
Oh, God, dude.
If you're working on a machine, think an operator.
He didn't catch that fault. Yeah, I just actually had to get the excavator fixed last week. Yeah, that wasn't cheap.
Yeah, and I feel bad. You call me sometimes. You're like, "Hey, I got this issue," and it's like, let me bust out the crystal ball, see if I can get something put together here for you. And sometimes, I'm thinking mechanic, so I'm trying to give you all these possible causes, and you're like, "Oh, it's just batteries," Like, "Oh, it could be this. I've seen this on dozers," but Yeah, I feel bad that I can't help you all the time, especially since you're so far.
I was like that joystick code.
Yeah.
Anybody listening that's got an 850L, I've got like a 4-year-old one now. And it's going to start happening to you about 3,000, 3,500 hours. I'm noticing everybody I talk to. You'll go to, on the left stick, it's got that control for your 6-way to tilt left to right. And it'll actually start going out. And what you have to do is do a hard reset on the dozer. You have to shut it all the way down, kill the kill switch, and then you got to unplug the battery for like 30 minutes, plug it back in. Yeah, I'm not kidding. I figured this out all on my own. Put the battery cables back on, it'll work. Do not ask me how the hell it's happening, but it's all by wire. I know now it's all by wire. It's not like it used to be where it's true hydraulics.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because you obviously run a Trimble system. Topcon. Oh yeah, I don't know why I said Trimble. Anyway. Besides the point, I just don't know if it was interfering with like the CAN system, in your joystick, or if you had a bad connection, because those dozers rub through wires all the freaking time.
Know, dude.
So I don't know if it was maybe you had interference with something.
You've wrenched on my dozer before you went over where you're at now, and you're at the deer dealer.
Fuck, maybe
that was the first time I met you. And I thought about that first time I met you. I was up at a job in McKinney. It was like 4 or 5 years ago.
I ran into a guy that I used to work on his machines the other day, and he was like looking at me, and I'm like, "Yeah, we know each other, buddy." he's a cool guy. So we sat and bullshitted for a little bit, but yeah, it's always nice running into some folks.
Yes.
Anyway.
It's been. I know we kind of went off topic there, but
it's okay.
It's something that has helped me was stepping back, and between stuff going on with Devin, he was slammed. I was dealing with my stuff, and that's why we haven't put an episode out. And I'm like, I'm finally back in the place that I know I can help the audience with things. I can consciously do, tell them the right things to do, and not be like, oh yeah, just do it. It'll work. And knowing in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work or not, And I think that was why I stepped back. I was like, man, I'm not in the right mental state. I'm not going to give them good advice. I'm in a pissy ass mood all the time. I'm sour. I'm just going to talk negative all the time. Who would want to listen to a podcast where a guy's negative all the time?
Yeah.
I mean, really.
So I'm probably none of my business, but are you ever going to talk about and explain what was going on?
Yeah, I will.
Eventually?
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
I think it'd be cool because somebody or multiple people might be going through the same thing,
Yeah, I definitely will. I can't yet for reasons, but I will. And I'm going to try and get it where you'll be back for that. When we can have that. I mean, I want to have the people that have been very special to me during all this to be here for it. So, I might try to get somebody else here too that comes to mind with that. And, it's really hard that, I saw a shirt the other day. I can't remember the name of the shirt company. And it says, never let the day win. And if you think about it, it's something that I used to do when I was in the military and going through schools or anything. And this is something to add to depression. Whenever you're in a cloud, guys, when I start thinking about this, because I knew we were going to talk about it, you and I, we brought it up, and I talked to Devin about it. He was all about it. I said, I started thinking in my brain the other day. I was running a machine, and I started thinking, I'm like, what can I say? Make it to the next meal. If you want to quit, make it to the next meal. Then make up your mind. Get something to eat. That'll get your mind off of it because you're eating. Now, I'm not saying go eat at the buffet, but eat something. And for me, it was sitting at lunch. No one's around me. I'm in my truck. I'm by myself. Nobody can fuck with me. And honestly, I turn my phone off sometimes or whatever, or I'd put a podcast on, maybe, or, Dirty and Driven. I haven't given them a shout out yet, so I apologize, James. I owe you one, brother. It just, and also Sweat and Grime. Love you guys too. Sorry I haven't given you a shout out in a while either.
Fuck you, Brian. They do it to me all the time.
I know. They call you out all the time, dude. It's fucking hilarious. I ain't forgot about time zones. I'll never forget that. You guys said 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 Eastern time. Fucking Michigan, dude. How the fuck is that East time? I thought that was Central. Yeah, but you know, I would put a podcast on or something, and I'd eat, and then I'd go back to work, and then some bullshit would happen and get me back in the mood, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna call my old lady on the way home. I'm just gonna talk to her. And I'd come home and I'd talk to her, and she'd go, lay it on me. Tell me what's going on. And I just talked to her through it, and I called you.
Is this true? Or you're like, shut up. I'm just kidding.
You know, and I'd call Devin. I'd call you. Devin call me. You'd call me. I'd call you. You know, there's a few others. And, you know, just it means a lot because everybody wants to be your friend when you're in the good times.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be your buddy. You know, it's funny. You know, I was out on a job a couple weeks ago, and this guy I talked to in probably a year and a half. He calls me up. Man, I see you guys are blowing it up and doing good, dude. I'm like, yeah.
Where were you?
Yeah, where the hell you been this whole time?
Yeah. Yeah.
It sucks. I mean, there's no way to talk about it without it sounding like a broken record, but it's just, it is what it is. I mean, at the same time, you got to talk to somebody. You can't just leave that shit in, man, because if you do, it's just going to eat you up.
That's right. I think my old lady's the only one I can really talk to, you know. Mm-hmm. She's legit. Like except on my way to your house today, she was on the phone talking about something, and I'm, you know. She's like, I'll let you go. Like, okay, because I'm trying not to fall asleep listening to you.
Oh, shit.
But she knows I'm messing with her, so.
Hey, guys, if Colton ends up on a milk carton, you know what happened.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. I took a couple weeks off the podcast, and somebody made a milk carton missing.
Serious?
Missing milk carton. They're like, have you seen this man?
Have you seen this dude?
And it was a picture of me.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that's the thing that, you know, being a podcaster, you know, you try to release every week and it just doesn't work out. And, you know, all these people are so demanding. I didn't realize how demanding podcasting was until I started. And I'm like, oh, this is no big deal. You know, I'm getting 75 downloads a week, you know,
Now you're like, oh God, this is a terrible episode.
No, it's just, you know, the demand, you know, and you got to have better equipment. And people are like, well, we want this. Your sound quality's crap. And it's like, well, donate to the podcast so I could buy shit, you know, because I do not want sponsors.
Yeah, I had one for a little bit.
Yeah.
I had that survey shop, and that was because shout out Joey Palamo down there in Houston. He's no longer with them. He went to another company, and I'm going to try to have him back on the show.
Yeah.
But, dude, that dude's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to, like, surveying or anything like that. God, man.
I'd love
to
to
for like
learn.
an hour before the show, dude. I learned so much crap. Like, he was telling me, like, I was like, man, you know, I really want to get a robot. And he's like, man, don't waste no money. You can go buy this antenna for $25. And I'm like, what? He's telling me all the secrets they're not going to tell you.
Yeah.
You know, because he sells this stuff. So it was crazy, like, just learning all the things I can do with the setup I have now can be at the capability of what the surveyor that comes out and sets the job up does.
Yeah. Those guys piss me off so much on job sites. I'll be parked somewhere working on a machine. They'll come by with their stupid thing and drive stakes in the ground. I can't leave without running over a stake or taking it out. I'm like, you son of a bitch. But I'd like to learn surveying. I know nothing about it. I know it's just numbers, distance, and depth or whatever, but I'd like to learn how it's done.
Well, you got northerly and easterly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's basic shit. You know, as long as you know your northerly, your easterly, that's your basics. You know, you learn changing elevations. So, you know, the way that a plan's written, I'm sure you've read plans before.
Yeah.
Is written in 5 digits. You know, you've got your main elevation, and then you got your tenths behind it. So you got 581.20 or 581.30.
Oh, okay.
So that 20 is 2 tenths. right?
Yeah.
So if you want to go to 582 and you're at a 581.20, you want to add 8/10, which is roughly 9.5, 10 inches. Right.
That's what she said.
Right. This is how bad I am now. I can't tell you inches to tenths. I can tell you tenths to inches, though. That's terrible, right?
Sure.
That's because I've done dirt work too long. Like, I know when you're like, hey, I want 5-inch concrete, I'm like 0.42. Right. Like, everybody's like, huh? I'm like, yeah. or, I want 6-inch concrete, 0.5.
Yeah.
What? Huh? What? That makes no sense, bro.
But you know what they say, about the stakes? You always carry them if you're traveling.
Yep.
And carry stakes. If you're traveling in the wilderness, you get lost, drive a stake in the ground.
Yep.
You know why?
Yeah.
Why? No. As a joke.
No, there is a reason why you carry stakes.
Oh, the
No,
joke
there's a
is
legit, like,
because a water truck will come find it and run it over. And
yeah,
take
no,
you
I've heard that
backward.
one. No, but there actually is a legit reason to drive marker, not stake necessarily, but like wilderness survival.
Yeah.
You always want to kind of mark your path.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get lost, you at least got a marker to kind of make your way back where the hell you were. Because if like you're in a spot that's got good shelter, and all of a sudden you're on a cliff, it's like, oh, I probably need to go back the way I just fucking came.
Yeah. I was trying to make a joke and you took it seriously. God damn it.
God damn it, Brian. God damn it, Brian. But anyways, we are so awful in left field, as always, which is why I love having you on the show. Because Magic Tool Bus was an epic episode.
I still go back and watch that. It's so funny. All the time.
We got to do that again.
Yeah.
I'll do that over the summer when everybody's got more free time. Yeah, I say that the busiest time of the year. But something I did want to talk to you about. You were asking me to tell you more about technical stuff with dirt work. I remember you said you want to learn some more stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had a guy just call me, or not call me, but he reached out. I don't remember who it is. I'm sorry. Give me a second. Somebody called me. It was on Spotify. Somebody asked.
You just want me to fill in right here?
Yeah, just fill in.
Do you know a fun fact is you can't skydive and swim at the same time?
No way.
Yeah.
I just learned
Fun
something.
fact.
User VE 6GE 5TK 4Y. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but he asked if we could talk about compaction with dirt and the common terms you use. Well, so when you're compacting dirt, you have levels of compaction. You have hard compaction, you have mid compaction, low compaction.
Yeah.
Type of material, you got 4 types. You got type 1, type 2, type 4, all the different soils. Here in Texas, we have usually like type 1. This is a fatty clay. So when you're compacting it, usually you want to be at what's called a 90 to 95% compaction rating, meaning that it's about as hard as you're going to get the shit, hitting it, beating it with a vibratory roller. I mean, you got to slow roll it, but you got to have your moisture right too, because if it gets too dry, then it starts getting cracks in it. Once it starts getting cracks in it, then it's compromised. So it's just it's an art almost. And everybody's like, oh, it's just dirt. I'm like, okay, well, there's more to it than that. It's an art. It's just like mechanicking, It's like you talking about taking that turbo apart and not stripping any bolts.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my ass will break every fucking bolt. I can tell you that right now. And Steph can tell you I'd probably throw the wrench across the freaking room too afterwards.
Now, when you're compacting, you're actually pulling dirt out, right, and putting it back.
Yeah.
How far down
Depends
do you typically go?
It depends on where you're at, but it also depends on the testing lab. But when we're doing like moisture conditioning in Frisco or this side of town, a lot of times it's 8 to 12 foot. And then you're coming back in either 6-inch, you're coming back in 9-inch loose lips compacted to 6 inches. Because dirt shrinks when you compact it. When air hits dirt, it expands. So, and then when you're doing, like foot lifts, it's compacted to 9, which is the fastest way to do it. And what you normally do is you rip it, water it, then you track it in with the dozer. Usually it's got enough weight, especially at the 850, it's got enough weight that it'll get the compaction you just off the tracks. And then you just make a smooth spot with your blade. Lab tech jumps down there, puts the testing machine on it, shoots it, gives you a thumbs up.
It blows my mind because I was actually talking to my boss about that the other day because they were lab testing something, and they're like, well, it's dirt. And turned out it was like solid rock under, but they only went down like a half inch. Like, oh yeah, it's dirt. And then we were going down 24 foot.
Yeah, y'all doing some big stuff.
And it was solid rock.
Yeah.
A foot down.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
was it over in Frisco?
No, it was on the west side of Fort Worth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got some hard rock over there.
So I'm just like, because we're trying to figure out what type of machine, if we want to buy a trencher, if that's going to help us out in future jobs and stuff, because we ended up having to rent a trencher for that, and it cost us a lot of money. And, just trying to, I was really curious about that because I'm like, well, these guys are only testing like a half inch down. Why aren't they testing further down? Because then we can bid the job higher if we have to rent something. And
right.
My boss just rolls his eyes. He's like, it's above my pay grade, because we're on the fleet side, but we're trying to prevent, because that job, we ruined a lot of buckets, cracked booms. We fucked up some stuff. And, we're trying to prepare for the future, and we're thinking ahead.
Right.
Well, they're like, well, that's not going to make us money. Obviously they're number crunchers. And like, why not, estimate a little bit higher just in case.
So the problem that you have is, and this is what me and Devin were talking about last episode. I don't know if you heard it, but the problem that you run into is if you go too high, you're going to shoot yourself out of the running on it. But I see where you're coming from, because that happens on every rock job. Yeah. You see it every rock job. A guy tears a boom up, tears a bucket up. You go down to Austin, those guys do it right. Mm-hmm. They run the mills. They run the milling machines. They just make it into base, and then they process it.
Yeah.
And they run rock saws. But it's because they're set up for it down there.
Yeah, you have to.
But up here, it's like, you might do one rock job a year. So it's like, dude, do I buy $1 million saw that's going to sit in my yard? And how many jobs do I got to do to pay this thing off?
Yeah.
And it's like a give and take there. Do you do it or don't,
I think it's a great idea, just because, we're doing a lot of subdivisions as well. And when we're putting in the main storm, they're going straight down the center of the road, putting this big pipe in, and we're having to go back and regrade the road within, I forget what it is.
Plus or minus a tenth.
Yeah. And so we're like, well, if you're going to get a trencher, why not just pull a trencher on that?
Yeah.
You got all your fine grade, just push it right back in and tack it down.
Yeah.
Because when you got an excavator, especially a 470, because we're digging with 470s, and then we go back with 350s and put it back, and they can screw up some stuff with the tracks, and dumping dirt over here, depending how.
The thing is that you still have to do, pipeline background that I had.
Yeah.
We had trenchers.
Yeah.
And the problem you have is you still have to compact that dirt.
Yeah, of course.
And so you can't just, the idea is noble, but you also got to think about trench safety, because it's going to push that dirt. I think the trenchers push the dirt out like 6 foot from where the cut is, if I remember correctly. Depends on the size of the trencher.
Yeah. I think we're looking at a 11.55.
Yeah, so
it
depends on the size, but I remember the ones that we were using, it seemed like it was 6 or 8 foot, so it was within the standard.
Yeah.
But the other thing you got to think about is you got to get a loader in there that's got to put embedment in, and then you got a whole pipe crew that's got to get in there. You got trench boxes, so it's kind of it's a noble idea. If you weren't going that deep, I'd probably do it. But if you're going over, like, I'm not a utility guy, but if you were going anywhere over 6 foot, dude, it's like, just pull the shit out of the way, because it's just going to be too much of a pain in the ass, unless you're doing really short runs. I mean, if you're just exposing the area you're going to work that day, I would do that. Yeah, hell yeah. But if you're going to do the whole job, you're going to run where you're going to run storm for the whole thing, and you trench the whole freaking thing, dude, you're going to have a nightmare. That
job on the west side, I mean, it took 2 months to pull, I forget how many feet, 275?
Yeah, but you're going that depth, you're charging out the ass for that, dude.
Yeah.
Because you're
well, they didn't make that much money because we didn't we weren't prepared for that job. I mean, we had 2 870s out there because that trencher would only go certain depth.
Yeah.
And then we had to dig another 4 foot.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were cracking the booms on the 870s. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
The other thing that you can look at too, guys, is, and Colton is getting that attachment that they got now, that rock head that they got for the excavators. Have you seen those? The one that it hooks into your hydraulic line where like a thumb would go, and it's instead of a bucket, it's literally two. The guys in Montana use them, I think, up there, but it's got teeth on it, kind of like a grinder.
Yeah.
You just go down there with that, and then come in behind it with a regular excavator and just dig it out.
The problem with that is you got to be set up for auxiliary.
Yeah,
and
but
none of our machines are set up.
how? Okay, here's a question: how much would it be to plumb that?
I don't know.
Would
It's
it
a
be
whole kit?
Okay, would it be cheaper than buying a boom?
We don't buy booms. We fix them.
Okay, all right. Labor, material, time to fix a boom.
I'm not the.
You're about to be that guy.
Maybe.
So you got to start thinking about this stuff. Hey, I'm giving you advice on this, man. I mean, this is what I would do. This is how I think about it. And guys, this is just a prime example right here, owning a company. Okay, we're having this issue. This is a solution. Okay, well, we keep fixing booms. We keep busting buckets. We paying a welder. I don't know what you're paying him, but let's just say $125 an hour to be out there to weld your bucket. He's out there 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's $700. All right, plumb system costs $1,200.
And it's going to last longer.
Yeah, you're going to get, what, 6-8 months before you might have to pump, patch it, reprime the system, replumb it, who knows? I mean, yeah, shit's going to happen. Hydraulic line's going to snap off. Okay, $125 for a hydraulic line. Whoop-de-doo. A couple gallons of fucking hydraulic oil. But, that could be your solution, looking into that system, saying, hey, if I buy 5 of them, are you guys going to make a better deal on it? If I put them on every one of my machines, if you plumb every machine and not hook it up necessarily, but every machine set up for it, that's how like the demo guys do it. They plumb every one of theirs to set them up.
Yeah,
they might have one that's got a bucket on it for 10 years, but it's plumbed for a thumb if they need it to be.
Yeah. I'd like to learn more on that side of the company, which I'm sure I'm going to. Why we don't do this, why we do this, certain things. So right now it's out of my hands, so I couldn't answer some of that.
Yeah, but that's something maybe looking into is, okay, well, if I spend this much money on a welder and I spend this much money on labor, time, and fuel, getting the service truck out there, getting a mechanic on it, how long is the machine down? Oh, crap, I got to go get this part. Oh, I got to go get this patch kit. Oh, I got to go get this.
Yeah.
And you can just go plumb it, put it in the shop for 2 days, plumb it up. Or you could probably do it in the field, plumb it up in the field, Yeah. I mean, I'm not that guy. I'm just, it's just an idea, It's shit I would look at doing.
You should be a salesman.
No. I can't do taking people to lunch all day. I just can't do that.
I couldn't kiss people's asses,
Yeah.
and then them be like, no, I'm not interested.
I couldn't smack the hood on a case and be like, man, you need to buy this thing, dude. I just couldn't do it.
This is the bee's knees. Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun when you get to have those conversations, of how to come up with a solution to a problem. It's when you need people, guys, when you're building your companies and growing your companies, you need guys like Colton. Colton is identifying.
No, you don't. Just kidding. I'm sitting over shaking my head. You don't want me.
Yeah, whatever. But Colton comes with a lot of experience. You want a guy that knows machines. Colton's going to tell you, hey, this excavator runs longer. We have a lot less issues on this type of machine. We have this type of bucket lasts longer. This style of teeth running on this bucket lasts longer. It's all a matter of, it's also on a preference, but at the same time, the proof is in the pudding, and getting around guys that, we've all seen that meme where the Caterpillar one's like the models, and then the John Deere one's like the subpar models, and then the Daewoo or whatever it was is like the dude that's missing all the teeth, like looking methed out or whatever it was. Daewoo.
You ever seen that movie Pineapple Express?
Yeah.
You just got run over by a Daewoo Lotus, motherfucker.
Daewoo, bro. Another thing, guys, you need to look into is security on your machines. A lot of people aren't doing that.
Security?
On your machines.
As far as what?
Putting in those ghost systems.
Explain, because I don't know what you're talking about.
So they have a system now that they put on. You can get it ordered from the factory, but it looks like it's an extra filter. Yeah.
And it's like a tracking device?
Mm-hmm.
Does it work as an alarm?
It'll kick on even if the battery's disconnected. It has a battery on it that lasts like 24 hours.
Okay.
So now the thing is, some of these guys already know how to find them. They have scanners, I guess, that can find them. But if I forget how long it waits, but it's a certain amount of time, it'll kick on and only kicks on for like a few minutes every hour. Mm. But you have to find it in that window to defeat it. So, the reason I'm talking about this, when our skid steer got stolen, we luckily got it back. I took it in, and the guy's like, "Hey, you want one of them Phantom ones?" And I said, "Yeah." So we still have the keypad on the front.
Yeah.
So you think it's low jacked. You just cut the wire, you dislocate it from the battery, oh, I beat them. Okay.
Do you,
good luck.
Because you run a little bit of everything, right? Or do you just run Komatsus and deers?
We've got a couple cats, deer, Komatsu, and then our skids are Kubotas.
So on your deer machines, do you run JD Link?
Yeah, JD Link.
So,
but the problem is, as well as I do, you disconnect the battery.
Yeah, of course. But because we run JD Link on all of our machines. But I mean, we just had a Cat 725 wiggle wagon. Somebody came and took it for a joyride, took it down the street, and then they also took one of our water trucks, which you're not supposed to leave the keys in those, and somehow the key was left in it, and they took it like 10 miles down the road, and it finally ran out of fuel or something. But
God.
But I'd rather have that and it come back in one piece than some of our job sites. They steal the batteries out of these machines. Mm-hmm. They smash all the windows. They put shit in the fuel tanks.
Yeah,
I've seen it all, and I just don't understand why.
I tell people this all the time. I don't care if you steal my truck, you steal my tools. You're just another fucking level of piece of shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I really don't care. You come in my front yard, you steal, lawn furniture. I don't give a fuck. You steal the Amazon package off the table. Ooh, you steal my truck. I don't care. You steal my fucking bike. I'll get a new one.
Insurance.
But you're stealing my fucking tools, dude.
Yeah.
And these aren't small
Your livelihood.
This is what pays my bills. This is what pays my guys' bills.
Yeah.
And you're stealing my shit. Mm-hmm. You're a low piece of shit. And anybody of you guys listening are, fucking stop listening to my fucking show. You're lower than fucking shit in my eyes.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's honestly fucking sad, man, how bad it's getting.
That's one thing I'm glad not being a service truck anymore. It's just like I always had that fear. Like, yeah, I've locked it up and had an umbrella policy off of my homeowner's insurance, But it was always that fear, like somebody's going to just pop the doors open on that sumbitch in my driveway.
Yeah, and take all your shit.
I have security system on my house, but it's like, yeah, I've got this guy on video, but what are we going to do with the video?
Exactly.
They're probably long gone and sold by now.
They got the guys that took mine on video.
Yeah.
But couldn't get the plate off the truck, couldn't get shit, And, thank God they ditched it behind a gas station, and the guy thought it was odd, and he called.
That's crazy.
And
crazy.
Luckily we got it reported stolen, and the PD called us, and me and my foreman ran over there and got the machine.
Like, do you have a yellow machine? Yeah, got a couple of them.
Got your shit all over it.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, you had logos on yours. I forgot about that.
No, not on that one. Oh. But I am now. Every machine, like some of my support machines, I just didn't do it because it's like, you know, I'm not going to waste the money, $300, whatever. Now I'm like, man, it might be a good $300 to spend. Because if you peel it off, I still can see it. Because I'm still going to see the shaded out spot. Even if you wash it, everything, you're going to still see that sunspot on
Well,
it.
you can't miss our freaking machines. I mean, they're
you guys
decaled up.
Our big stuff is. You've seen my stuff. My stuff's done right. I mean, you know, it's just you gotta take care of your equipment, man. Because if you don't, man, it pays your bills. I mean, and
sabotage and theft when it comes to this type of stuff just blows my mind.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff I don't understand how they can actually steal it, you know, because there's keypads. You have to enter a code and they still figure it out.
Yeah.
But, the theft of the batteries and shit just pisses me off because instead of unbolting the damn cables, they cut the cables.
Yeah.
Just unbolt the damn things. You can unbolt the hold down.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So
just lazy thieves these days.
what?
Anyways.
Anyway, I'm done talking about these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Let's move on. Another thing I wanted to talk about was setting yourself up for success with getting new clients and clientele. You know, we talked last week about taking care of your clients and all that, but you know, scaling your business and growing your business is something that you really need to sit down and think about because it's like growing your podcast. Every decision you make, you know, as you grow, you're going to eat capital. And if you're growing at an exponential rate, that workload needs to match that exponential rate, but that cash flow has to match it as well. So you go out there and you get all pumped because you want $1 million job, and it's like, that's awesome. Well, you're going to be like 60, 65 days before you see it sent. And you just had to rent 20 machines, hire 15, 20 guys to do this job. And it's all expense, and there's no money.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So if, say you go and do a pad.
Yeah.
And you do it all, and they say, we're going to give you $1 million for this job. Do you do the job and they pay you at the end, or do they like, here's 30 grand, here's 30 grand?
You're paid in draws. So, you know, you always hear us talking about production.
Yeah.
You know, so what you got to do is you have to figure out, what do I charge a yard to do this job? Okay. I don't know what it is, whatever it is. It could be $4 a yard, whatever, $5 a yard, whatever you're charging. Okay, cool. I'm doing 100,000 yards of moisture conditioning. I'm doing 12,000 yards of select fill for the cap. I'm doing, you know, I'm exporting off this site, I don't know, 10,000 yards, right? So you have the quote that you bid the job with from the trucking company. So you call the trucking company, say, hey, I won this job. Can you still honor this price? And they're like, yeah, we can honor it. Good to go. Then that's when I get in the truck and I start driving around and I find a job site closer. And I go, hey, bud, you need dirt? Yeah. Is it clean? Yeah. You need to test it? Yeah. Here, I'll bring you a bucket of it. Run back to the job, get a bucket of it, get it tested, make sure it's going to meet the proctors they need to use for their fill. And I saved $20 a load. Well, you're doing 150, 200 loads. You guys can do the math here. It's a little pocket money.
Yeah.
It's every little thing counts. I mean, if you can bid a job to do it with 5 tractors, but you can do the same amount of work with 2, do it with 2. That's less labor. That's less overhead. That's less taxes. It's all a numbers game, man. Once you learn the numbers, that's the key to this, is learning to do more with less. And I'd personally, I'm some guys I know do this opposite of what I do, but I'd rather go get 7 or 8 top hands. They're the A guy at every company they're at. Bring them all to one company. It's like having the all-star team. You're paying a little more for it. You're the New York Yankees in payroll, but you're on 4 jobs and you're doing what another company has to have 15 guys doing, and your overhead's just that much smaller.
Yeah.
So you're winning more work. You're also making more money.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you should be. But in turn, that's when you scale your business. That puts money in the coffers. That keeps your bills paid. That keeps the lights on. It keeps the fuel paid. Keeps the mechanic paid. You know, all those things that you need to succeed as a company. Because everybody, all they think about is the field, the field, the field. You still got people you got to pay in that office.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay your estimator. You got if you got a project manager, you got to pay them. You got to pay the person, whether you have an in-house person does your books, you got a person that does your books, they charge you. You got to pay your taxes. I know.
Props, because I wouldn't do that shit.
I'm on year 5 now. I'm used to it now. It's like I'm institutionalized with this shit. So it's just like, whatever, you know. We're going to be 5 in a month and a half, man.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's flown by. And if I could go back in time and tell myself 5 years ago all the shit I know right now, yeah, I'd probably own my house. I wouldn't be renting one right now.
Yeah, that's the shitty part. You can't go back and redo it. I always have this weird feeling like, oh, when I get to this age, everything's gonna be figured out. Fuck no.
I talked to David about this a couple weeks ago, and Will, and they're older than me, and they both even said it. They're like, "Did we look like we got our shit together? We're still learning shit."
Yeah.
I mean, David knows his shit. He's been doing dirt work 30 years. He still tells me he still learns shit from time to time.
Yeah.
If you're never learning, man, you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. You're a dinosaur. I'm not afraid to admit I don't know everything, because I don't.
Yeah, I learn shit every day. I'm a seasoned fucking mechanic, and I still learn shit.
I'm a seasoned dirt guy.
Or I've got this, problem on something, and it's like, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And sometimes you just got to take a step back and go, hey, what do you think this is? So I can confirm that I'm correct, and I still run into those moments. I'm sure you do too, but.
I do it every day. I mean, I learn something every day. Like, I thought I knew TxDOT spec. They changed the spec in the last year, and I didn't know it. I'm out there doing this turn lane, and it used to be you put, 18 inches of flex base, and then you'd put a 6-inch, or it was, I can't remember, 6-inch, 3-inch or 6 inches of asphalt, and then 12 inches of concrete. And the inspector come out like week before last. I said, "So you need me to hold this down?" I remember I did the math, and I told him, I said, "I got to hold this down 18 inches, right?" And he just looks at me, he goes, "From top of concrete?" I said, "Yeah." He said, No, just hold down 12. 12 to the top of base? He goes, "Yeah." I'm like,
that's why our roads are so fucked up.
I'm like, wait a minute. You guys used to do this asphalt cap and then do the concrete. And he's like, "Yeah, no, it's changed." Bro, that was the same for like 20 years, dude. Like, what happened? He's like, "Oh, I don't know. They just changed it." Okay. So I had to tell the GC that, because he's like getting ready to order asphalt. I'm like, "We're not going to need asphalt out here." So he's like, "Fuck yeah. All right, cool."
Oh, that's right, because they put asphalt down first. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I don't understand that process.
Yeah, they do it.
Stupid.
They do it weird here, dude. Like, the way they do it out north and stuff is just way smarter. Just dig the whole shit out.
I just can't stand concrete roads, dude.
Yeah, do asphalt, dude.
And they're talking about how bad the economy is, and drying all this concrete that's in the DFW is bad for the environment.
And it increases the temperature so much, because at night, a lot of people don't realize this that don't live here, but all our roads here are concrete.
Yeah.
Like the road outside my house right now is concrete.
Yeah.
And literally, I lived in Arizona. It's all asphalt.
Yeah, that's where I grew up. It's all asphalt.
And it gets it gets hotter there. And I'll tell you, at night here, it gets down in the 70s and 80s, but it doesn't feel like it, because all the ambient heat coming off of the concrete.
Yeah.
I mean, you go out in the country, it's not bad, but I mean, because they still got blacktop roads out there, but you're in town, oh my God. Like out where you live, it's probably not so bad, but
yeah, it blows my mind. And then they do these, I forget how big these sections of concrete are in the road. And then one will sink down. So it's like, when you're driving down the road, fucking drives me nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and the bridges me and Daniel built, on 635, they're still smooth because, we did them. That's why.
Not the part where it goes like this.
No. I'm not talking about the new section. I don't know those guys. I'm not affiliated.
High five side.
I'm not affiliated with those guys. No affiliation, dude. So
Word. I got you. I don't know half of these motherfuckers, so
Yeah. But yeah, we need to definitely have another episode with you, me, and Davini and Devin and all them. That was hilarious. It was an awesome freaking time, dude. I really want to have an episode and try to get somebody in here from like the government. I've been really thinking about that, like to talk about all the laws that need to be changed. Like, I really want to just bring a senator on and be like, so why aren't y'all doing anything about this?
the problem is, they can't say certain things, so it's going to sound like a bunch of bullshit anyway.
I know.
But, your government doesn't care about you. I'm just kidding. When are you going to have the significant other on the podcast?
I don't know. She won't. She's got stage fright. She doesn't want to come on. Oh, well, you said you don't want to come on.
I think you guys need to do an episode together. I think
so.
Probably be hilarious. I have my wife on quite often, and she says some weird shit, and I just look at her, but it turns, they're always super funny.
Oh, I know. I mean, you see how I got the mic sitting? It's so she can pull it over and talk.
Yeah, let me chime in on this. Shut up. I'm just kidding.
She's been awesome helping me with this, and when we first did the first episode, I was sitting at the kitchen table to having this now. It's been a great journey.
You got a badass setup, that's for sure. But what the hell was I just going to say? Jumping back to, holy shit, I just brain farted completely. A mental health, episode, Certified Wrench, definitely going to do one. I've got a guy lined up. So I'm going to have him on as kind of a guest. And then basically, I'd like to get a couple people together. I'm not going to say who yet because I don't know for sure. But I'd like to have at least, 4 or 5, maybe 6 people on.
Yeah.
And just kind of do this episode. I don't care how long it is. If it's 4 hours, then it's 4 hours. We're going to Dr. Phil this shit.
Hell yeah.
And, a lot of people have been requesting it. I'm not really sure even what we're going to talk about, but we're gonna do it.
I'd love to be on if you'll have me.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm not trying to invite myself. Right
I already invited you. You were like one of the first ones I invited.
I know. I was being a smart ass. Trying to be smart ass.
You've got your military background and you own your own company, and I'm just like, man, and you just went through your shit. So, if you don't mind talking about some of it on there,
no,
we're not going to make you go deep into it, but it just talk about things.
Yeah, for sure.
And see what happens. It could be a good one. It could be a shitty one.
Yeah, I think knowing us, it'll be a banger. They usually are. Our fans are pretty freaking loyal.
Yeah, hopefully. Bastards. You ungrateful bastards. I'm just kidding.
I do want to say something because he's going to listen to this episode. Drew Big, I'm sorry I didn't call you back this morning. I'll call you after I get done recording this. So,
okay.
I've been bad about that. He calls me and I forget to call him back. I'm like, shit, he's gonna get mad at me. He's gonna drive down here and whip my ass. That dude's like a Viking dude.
He's a real corn-fed.
Yeah, he's a Viking dude. I don't want to get my ass handed to me by him. Anybody that doesn't know Eric Strubeg, that is one giant man.
Big giant teddy bear.
Yeah, he fell off a crane last week. Did he tell you about that?
No.
Yeah, he sent me a video. He's like, I fell off the crane, and there's an indention in the ground where he fell, and he's like on base, and he puts a fucking indention in the ground. I'm like, golly, dude.
I've only fallen off of a machine one time, and it was just a shitty situation, and I couldn't really prevent it. And I fell hard, dude. Fell straight on my ass, and it hurt so bad. Like I hit the track first.
Oh,
yeah. I don't even know how to explain it, but this machine. So basically, this was in a old pond that another company came back and filled. So they're like, "Oh, we're gonna build a building on this now." So we start digging for pipe, and it's just swampland underneath this dirt.
Oh God.
And we're burying machines and stuff out there. Well, we get one machine, and the pump drive goes out right in the middle of all this shit. So we're laying road plates down over the top of this, and it's just sinking into the ground. So I can get my truck backed up to it to pull the pumps, and it was miserable. And we have rails on our machines that we weld on. Well, these ones weren't grippy, and walking through the mud back up there, get oil on the bottom of my boots. I slip and fall off that son of a bitch, man.
Oh.
And I hit the track. I was getting ready to quit. I was like, fuck this.
That's one of those chunk the hard head. I'm fucking done.
Fuck this. Having to work on road plates, and they're sinking into the ground. It's just mush.
We were moisture conditioning. It was like, this wasn't my company. This was when I was working somewhere else, but this was 10 years ago. I was doing a job in Plano. And, when you're moisture conditioning, sometimes you'll have 3 or 4 slots going, different elevations. We had this new kid on track loader, and I kept telling him, hey, don't go right off at the edge. I was running the excavator, throwing dirt on the other slot, and I kept telling him, like, hey, dude, do not get within a track width of that edge.
He was like dumping into the...
No, he was tracking. He had his bucket up in there, so he was compacting the lift. I
see what you're saying.
And I told him, don't get within a track width of the edge. It's going to cave in. There's nothing holding it back. It's wet dirt. Yeah. It's just going to cave in. And it caved in because he went right up on the edge like I told him not to. And this dude, ends up with his upside down somehow inside the cab. Yeah. Like he's down on the floor inside the track loader. His head is. His feet and his ass are up in the air by the seat. And me and my foreman are trying to get the fucking door open. It's one of them old K model ones. And them fuckers' doors are heavy, dude. And we're trying to get that motherfucker open. We get it open. And he's 5-6 foot down in the cab. We're trying to reach down and get him out. And of course, we're in a trench trying to get him out. And I slipped and I fell off the back of the cab. Pulling him out, I slipped because it was wet. And I slipped. I fell on my back, dude, man. You
get up and do one of them.
No, I did. I wanted to whoop his ass because he didn't listen to what I told him to do. Man, I was so mad that day, dude. That was like you're talking about quitting. My foreman was like, just go to the house. I was like, thank God. He's like, yeah, just take the rest of the day off.
Look at the indent I made.
Look at the indent
I really compacted.
Yeah, I compacted the shit out of that dirt. I was pissed, man. That was a throw your hard hat. I probably said every word but hello to that guy, dude. I was fucking pissed. And that was not a good day.
I have those days sometimes, man.
Yeah, it tends to happen like that. I do want to say thanks to everybody. The first episode back, we're back up to 700 downloads a week already. That's freaking awesome. I didn't expect it. I was like, we're gonna get 20.
No, I was pumped to see it, man.
I was like, man, we're not gonna get crap. It's all good. I'm accepting it. We'll build it back up. Me and Devin have been joking about it. Yeah, we're at the bottom of the list now for construction podcast.
I'm gonna pay for follows.
So I did want to say thanks and appreciate it, guys. And how are we going to get a hold of you, Colton?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh, you're going to make me go through this spiel? I'm just kidding.
Do your spiel, brother.
Certified Wrench Podcast @gmail.com. That's how you get a hold of me. But if you want to follow me, Certified Wrench Podcast on everything. Except for Instagram, it's Certified Wrench _podcast. And I deleted TikTok because fuck TikTok.
Yeah, I kept up with it.
If I could, I would delete all social media, but I can't because of the podcast.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Okay.
I think.
You think so?
Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
Yep.
All right.
Where can they find you?
Well, they can find us if you want to shoot us an email, any questions, concerns, bitches, gripes, complaints. It's ongrade.
Nice.
ongrade88@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram. It's _grade TX. We're almost at 500 followers finally. So I will be sending the hat to the 500th follower. You will get a DM from us. So if you guys want to pass the love and make fake accounts and so you can get a free
I'm going to go unfollow and wait and watch and I'm going to follow. Just kidding. I already have an iron. Oh, do I have a on grade hat? Yeah, I do. I don't have an Iron Eagle one.
Yeah, I got some for you.
Okay.
I got a new batch made about 8 months ago. They're in my truck. I just haven't given them out.
Nice.
Also, if you do want to be on the show and you're local, shoot us an email. It's on or just shoot me or Devin an email at our company pages, Iron Eagle Excavations Instagram or Ruben Group. It's spelled RUEBENBEN Group. If you want to be on the show, if you're local, if not, we do accommodate now virtual. We've done a couple virtual episodes. They've been pretty cool. We do them through Zoom or whatever you need to use. But if you'd like to be on the show, definitely we're looking to try to get our roster built for the year. So, and then if you would like and share and subscribe on YouTube and hit the notification bell. Give us our 5 stars on Spotify and comment on Apple, like, rate, and review on Apple. And we have TikTok. Check out our shorts on TikTok. Probably be a bunch of good ones from this episode for TikTok. But that's all I got, brother. You got anything you want to talk about?
Yeah, one thing I will say is, we doing these podcasts, we don't ask for anything. If I'm lucky enough to get donations and people buying merch and stuff like that, but, the least that a listener can do, to help us out is, obviously go rate, and review and follow the podcast, share the podcast with your folks and, a little share here, gets you a follow there. And so that's all I like to say, I guess, because, it just shows some appreciation for the podcast.
Yeah.
We want to blow these things up, make them bigger, but, you get to a certain point and it just kind of stops growing and people want more. It's like, well, you help me.
Yeah.
I scratch your back, you scratch my back.
It goes both ways, bro.
Yeah.
So, I've never done the tip thing. I know you and James do it, and that's awesome. I just, me and Devin have kind of just put what we can into this, and I kind of made up my mind that for a while I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to roll what I got. I got to run older cameras, and the newer mic comes out that everybody else is running. I can't get it yet, so you
got a badass setup, man. So I mean, I'm wanting to travel more with my podcast.
Yeah.
So.
No, what you want to do is legit, bro. Because I would love to do it full time eventually. I really would.
It would be cool.
But right now this is just fun for me, and I just truly enjoy it, and I just want to pass knowledge, and if I can do that, if that can be my legacy as a podcaster. Hey, Brandon and Devin did everything they could to help me with my company, not make the mistakes they made, and here. When I see guys send me pictures and stuff on the gram and Messenger, and they're like, hey, dude, I did what you told me. I got this freaking job. I just bought this new machine, dude, I'm freaking pumped. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome, dude. Like, that to me is my reward. It's I did something to help the next guy, because there was nobody, when I first started, there was nobody that wanted to help you like that. There wasn't. And, there's a lot of podcasts out there that talk about construction. And this ain't a hit on any of them. It's just nobody wants to get into the nitty gritty of the day to day of it. They just want to talk about,
how do we get the next generation into this fucking?
Yeah, how do we get them to work? Okay, well, first of all, offer them a salary they can live on. Secondly, you've never worked in construction, so just shut up. Mm-hmm. Third of all, just remember where the hell you came from. If you do work in construction and run a podcast, you remember all the time you had, the hell of a time you had learning something. Don't do that to the next guy, dude.
Yeah, help them out.
Yeah, like I remember when I first started operating, nobody wanted to help you.
Nope.
It was they thought you were going to take their job. Now it's like, my guys are like, hey, I want to learn how to run the blade. I'm like, cool, go talk to Dave. He's going to show you. Or if I got time, I'm going to jump in the blade with him and I'm going to show him how to do it. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to teach a guy.
Hell yeah.
But that's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah, none of these old guys, fuck you. I've already forgotten more than you'll ever know. Like, shut up, just teach me.
These boots got more time in the seat than you'll ever have. All right, cool. Anyways, guys, like I said, that's my reward for podcasting. is helping that next guy. Yeah. You know, one day I'd like to get back to having sponsors and all that stuff and tip jar or whatever. But honestly, right now, I'm just enjoying being back on the show, just putting episodes out. You know, we do have costs. You know, every episode I got to get somebody to edit this, you know, whether it's myself or Steph or you sometimes, you know, it's just somebody's got to do it. That's somebody's time, you know, and that's
you got to get in that groove to where you don't even need to edit it, man.
I know.
Just put that front thing on there, and
Yeah.
I put outros on mine, which is just music.
Yeah.
I don't edit my podcast whatsoever.
Yeah.
Unless somebody says, you know, a name or something.
The problem I got is the background noise in here. So that's why I kind of try to just, you know, I use that filter.
I got you. All right.
So,
All right.
you know, I want to sound like I'm Joe Rogan on my fancy podcast.
Conspiracy theory.
Studio. By the way, I love his show. Absolutely love his show.
So do I.
And also, huge shout out to somebody that I listened to a lot when I was going through my stuff. I've never mentioned this podcast on the show before, but he is a fellow vet. He's a badass dude. He's a Navy SEAL. I'd love to give a shout out to, well, actually two of them. One's here locally in DFW. Mike Ritlin with the Mike Ritlin. Check his podcast out. And the Sean Ryan Show. He's up in, I think he's in Tennessee. And he has some amazing people on his show. So definitely check those podcasts out. They're awesome. I've been listening to them for years now, but I just never given them a shout out because they're not really in our world, but they're military guys. But they have some really cool guests on, dude. Like they don't really have a niche podcast. They have they talk about, you know, stuff in general. You know?
That's cool. I like those.
I do too. And, you know, I know you and me were talking about doing that other thing sometime. I think that would be fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. You want me to close this thing out?
Yeah, close us out, bro.
Well, guys, it was a pleasure being on the On Grade podcast. Just remember, whatever room you walk into is a great room because you're in it.
See you next time, guys. Stay classy.